Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exodus unit review. And we're going to be talking about Reberta Ignitos. So, her ST art at the bottom there, it's a 10 times mod boost for all physical attacks. For her, of course. Not sure if it stacks because usually sources from the same item don't stack in terms of mod boost. So, not sure on that, so we'll be talking about that shortly. She has True Brave Shift, so that means infinite turns. Very good. Both sides. She has 600% cap, 200% True Dual Wield, 200% Dragon, Insect, Aquatic, and Stone Killer. Gee, I wonder why she has Dragon and Aquatic. That's weird. The boss that's coming in has Dragon and Aquatic Killer, or race. Interesting. Infernal Breath is like a watered down crane, crowned New Vision Rain ability that you get like 55% amp and 300% stab buff and stuff like that. So it's slightly weaker. The only positive thing is that it imbues fire, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you feel. And she has abilities with killer buffs. I'm not gonna talk about the entire thing, but there's 3 abilities that give killers, but they cost 2 Lumberous crystals. But you don't really care too much about that because you'll know why in a bit. In the base form, all elemental and peril removal cooldown for all allies, with also some resistance, some healing involved as well. So not too bad. She has 2 morale based abilities with magic asterisk damage, including Mystic Breath and also Mega Breath, which is the powerful one. So, oh, I forgot to put a con down. There's gonna be a con involved with those, a small one, I guess. In her LB, 30% Spear and Peril, 350% stat buff, and also 300% Ludicrous damage with buff. So, she does not make up for someone like Aerith, for example, or another buffer who has 350% in burst damage and stuff like that, but that is pretty good. If you, I mean, you could probably live with those kind of buffs and get a pretty decent damage turn with those stats. So, it is a very good lone burst in terms of not really needing to bring another buffer, because technically she could be your buffer in that way. Sorry about that. Anyways, Brave Shift form, she has, here's the contention now. 175 times or 185 times, depending if it stacks, because like I said, usually sources from the mod boost or sources or something like that from the same source do not stack. So I'm not sure. Most people are assuming that it stacks, but I'm just going to put this here to cover, you know what. So we're having this range of 175 times to 185 times. Both are still weaker than Kain, but still. 600% jump damage passive. That's actually pretty good, because you only need a 200% more, and her STMR gives another 50. Okay, and then that vision card gives another 100. So all you really need is a 50 more percent. That's actually pretty good if you think about it. She has a 30% Spear and Peril ability, but it costs them the first crystal, so it's not just, oh, I can just use it whatever. Thankfully, you don't really have to use her LBs because it's not completely necessary. She's not a little burst damage unit. You'll be noticing that there's a lot of ability that she has that costs little burst crystals, but it's not that big of a deal. Support from the Skies has a 5 times Mirage cooldown. She has some other things in there, but not worth mentioning. And just to be thorough, I'll talk about her LB in the Brave Shift form, but it's not really necessary to use. So, removes all buffs from all enemies, removes all debuffs from all allies, 350% stat buff, full stat buff for all allies, and also next turn is a 10k heal, 200 MP recovery, and also a 15 LB gauge for all allies. So, not really necessary. You might use this every now and then just for the first part to remove all buffs and debuffs. That part is pretty good. The rest is kind of whatever. I mean, it's okay, but it's niche. So overall, pretty good kit. Now some cons. Number 1, she only has fire imbue. Her 5-star form had 3 imbues. Only for herself, of course, but she still had 3 imbues compared to 1. Number 2, I forgot to write down. Her chaining, or her tag chaining is tied to her, so it's called Mystic Breath, I believe. And that's a unique mod. That's unique chaining only for her, so she will not be able to chain with anyone else. That's a big con, in my opinion. That's a pretty big con, because usually tag chaining is a tag chain. It's hard to say that. Tag chain ability. So normally other tag chainers can join in. She can't join with anyone, so she's stuck with only herself. And so let's look at her tag chain number. 16 hits. I mean, you could triple cast that. And if you use her Mega Breath, you get a quad cast. So you can actually quad cast that, so that's a decent number of hits, so she could be your only chainer. We know that that won't probably be the case, because most people are probably going to want to bring Carton or Laura along. So I don't really like the part where it's Mystic Breath chaining. I think that's a pretty big con for me personally. I'm already imagining myself using her in a team, and like she would be the only one that's going to be chaining for pretty much, unless you can weave it in with something. Because I don't know what Mystic Breath chaining would look like, if it's going to break or anything like that, or it's going to make the other chains break. You can't break. I don't think you can break tag chaining, but yeah. So there's that. True dual jumpers. So she has a true dual jumper, like I feared, like I talked about, because her STMR is one-handed. That was pretty much a big clue there. She has less mods than Kane. Remember, Kane has 210 times, I believe. 210 times, I believe, or 230. I can't remember exactly. It's one of those. It's over 200. So you could make the argument, yes, Kane has higher mods, but he's tied to element, but that doesn't really stop anything. People use Kane for pretty much everything, so that's not an excuse anymore. And most likely it won't be stronger because there's no variance involved at all. And she doesn't have an ATDH, and put the nail in the coffin, pretty much. Well, actually, technically, I guess on global, the nail in the coffin is not even starting with any ATDH at all. But also, the 600% or 200% cap is tied to dual wielding, which is pretty weird, because usually new units have just 600% cap with no tied to dual wielding. And the fourth one, her vision card is really bad. Her vision card is really bad. It's so mediocre because they want you to pull for the one that's on that step up. So this vision card is absolutely garbage, because Dragon Killer is one of the easiest things to cap on. So why would you care about a vision card that has Dragon Killer on it, and then some mediocre percentage stats? So overall, if you're expecting her to be a top tier damage dealer, you are in the wrong place, sir or madam. If you're expecting her to be a sub DPS, support DPS, you are in the right place, because that's what she is. She can be your finisher, but not going to be the best of all time. She can be your support, which will definitely be very good, and she can also be your tag chainer, which is still good. And technically, she could also finish with Mega Breath as well, so it's also a decent possibility, but it's not a limit burst, so you basically are needing a lot of morale to make that really strong. So overall, I'm going to be giving her a 9 out of 10. The vision card really drags her down a bit, and true dual jumper, I don't really like the idea of that too much. I was hoping maybe she would be like she would have 2 forms of jumping, so one form would have magic jumps, and the other form would have physical jumps. That would be interesting, but sadly that's not the case. So 9 out of 10 for Reberta. She's really amazing. Don't get me wrong, 9 out of 10 is really powerful. I'm not salty about the vision card. People are going to say, oh, you're salty. What am I salty about? I'm trying to tell you the facts. That you can't... Go look at the vision card right now. You can't tell me that that's good. The one that she gets from EX1, of course. I had to put that in there. Tell me right now. Raise your hand if you're going to defend that vision card, because I will definitely debate that. Definitely not very good. So that drags your score down a little bit, but not too much. And the reason why it does is because that vision card from the step up is not permanent. So once the step up ends and you don't get it, and you're late, and you come in later and you get Reberta, you're not gonna get that vision card ever again. So now you're stuck with this vision card, which sucks. So with that being said, guys, thank you very much for watching. I don't think I was salty at all. I gave her a very positive score with some downsides. All units have downsides, guys. No, almost no unit's gonna be a 10 out of 10. It's very rare. It's only been one time. I believe there's only been one time ever in the history of my review that a unit has gotten 10 out of 10. So if you come to my channel and watch my reviews and you expect me to give every unit a 10 out of 10, you are in the wrong place. Go somewhere else, because I'm gonna be, you know, giving units cons too. Not every unit is perfect. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Appreciate you. See you in the next video.